He said, no, interior Mexicans know what's going on. But he said that, he was talking to my dad, actually, I was listening. He said that mainly it's the Mexicans in Texas, Arizona, and California who work with the Mexican mafia and Los Zetas. And he said, and so even after they come to the U.S., they're used as slaves. And he described some folks that he knew who basically had come in from Mexico and who disappeared on the east side of Austin and are used as mules, as slaves. And what they do is they basically hold these Hispanics, children, and then they're used as slaves for decades. The Austin police don't go over there. The CPS doesn't go over there. I mean, they're constantly, occasionally having bust where there'll be hundreds of women as sex slaves and houses and children, and DynCorp and Halliburton are all involved. DynCorp runs the CPS, so they help run the slave kids out. And basically, I have to revise my analysis because I already knew this information, but he just crystallized it for me. Some illegal aliens are above the law, but only because they are property of the drug cartels and the CIA and the banks to be fed on, like T-bone steaks. And so local cops aren't allowed to touch the mafia's goods. And then I was talking to another family friend who was over there at my grandmother's birthday party at my parents', who I've known for a long time, and she works for one of the largest apartment complexes. And she had talked about how a few years ago they became secret government housing. That is, they're not supposed to tell their regular customers, but they are now 501c3, and that they are to give the illegal aliens with no ID apartments, and that the federal government is funding them to do this. And then she started agreeing with the Hispanic fellow who was at the birthday party about, yeah, she talked about a guy who works with her in the apartments. He's been here for years, and he's a legal guy from Cuba, and they got in this little fishing boat with a motor, but halfway across the motor broke, so they tried to paddle to Florida, and the currents caught them and pushed them in to Central America, and so they had to make it all the way out, and they were just a few miles from the Texas border, and the Los Zetas got them and took them and kept them for a few months until their family could secretly smuggle $2,000 a piece out to them. Then they still held them longer, barely feeding them like something out of the road, literally in an underground cellar. And then he and his Cuban buddy got across, and the Border Patrol shook them down for money, both illegal money and then legal bond. And then once they were put in the jail cells, they never got their bond back. And they were Cuban. I mean, automatic refugee status to the U.S., and they should get it because, I mean that is a horrible communist situation. And once they got here, then the jail guard came to him and said, okay, you've got the money, so you're going to get out, but to your other Cuban buddy, you're not, but I have the drug cartel guy who you already paid on the other side, his operatives out here, we're going to send you to Austin, and you're going to be a mule in East Austin. And the other Cuban guy, it's been several years, has never seen his buddy from Cuba again. So it's legalized slavery. And what everyone was agreeing on is that the Hispanic groups, the ones the media gives the attention, the ones that represent them, the ones that put out movies about, the Hispanic hero that kills the evil gringos, those type of people, they are there to manage and racially control Hispanics because they're there to be shaken down. And I remember a former city council person, their brother got busted a few years ago as a coyote for having a bunch of Mexican slaves at his house because they, quote, couldn't pay him the money. Of course, they can never pay the money. It's just like the Chinese mafia. The Chinese pay on average about $10,000 to be smuggled here in containers. But once they get here, they never get the money paid off. It's the same thing with the Russian mafia. And so America's just completely mafia run. And so it goes corporate chiefs, they have the supreme rights, then government bureaucrats and politicians, then cops, then illegal aliens, then citizens, and from my studies below them, it's immigrants. And they are sex slaves, organs are stolen, that's come out in the news, their kids are taken, just free reign on them. And that's what I mean. The truth is so much more complex than simple sound bites. I just can't handle it anymore. I mean, to read about how they got these women and kids in these dungeons, just like the movie The Road, and they're all running around and they're naked, starving to death, and these Los Zetas peoples funded by the CIA rape the women and children for pleasure and enjoyment, and then cut their heads off and stick them on poles. And then Mecha and La Raza are all in with these people. They're all Mexican mafia run, and they all think it's cute and funny and cover up what they're doing to them, and instead make it a distraction about stupid gringos. I mean, we're just completely screwed. I'm here to tell you.
Attention, this is a special alert to all Americans who owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS. The IRS is now accepting reduced settlements from people who owe back taxes and dramatically lowering amounts owed. Due to the financial crisis in America, the IRS has announced a leniency plan in recognition of consumers' financial troubles in today's economy. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS, an open phone line has been established by American Tax Settlement for you to call and see if you qualify for a reduction by up to 75%. Number to call is 800-902-6969. Again, the IRS is now accepting reduced settlements from consumers who owe back taxes in response to the decline in today's economy. If you are struggling with $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS, you now may be eligible for a dramatic reduction by up to 75% and save thousands of dollars. For free information and to see if you qualify, call the open phone line into American Tax Settlement now. 800-902-6969. 800-902-6969. Again, 800-902-6969.
Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the global elite are now storing non-hybrid seeds in secret storage vaults near the Arctic Circle? Did you know that in a real meltdown, non-hybrid seeds can become more valuable than silver or gold? It's true, seeds have outperformed even gold and silver before in this country, and it's possible that could even happen again. So our friends at Solutions from Science have put together the perfect mix of non-hybrid seeds. They call it a survival seed bank, and it can produce an endless supply of nutrient-dense food for you and your family. And here's the best part. These seeds have not been genetically modified in any way, and you actually get enough seeds to plant a full-acre crisis garden. So visit them today at survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com, or give them a call at 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365. Remember, in a real crisis, non-hybrid seeds are the ultimate barter item. This is Alex Jones for survivalseedbank.com.
You've seen our SinoFresh banner on the GCN website, yet your sinusitis is still a problem. Are you waiting for your sinusitis to go away by itself? Are you waiting for a SinoFresh discount? Okay, here it comes. But first, the facts. 67 other products merely treat symptoms and not the cause of sinus problems. And 37 million Americans suffer from sinus distress just like you. But now many are finding relief with the only patent-protected homeopathic nasal product that antiseptically eliminates the known causes of sinusitis. SinoFresh. Now, here's your limited time discount offer to use SinoFresh. Call 888-906-3636 right now for $2 off per bottle when you mention GCN. That's it. Just call 888-906-3636 and mention GCN for a $2 discount. But hurry, this offer is only for the first 1,000 customers. Call 888-906-3636. 888-906-3636. Call right now for $2 off per bottle. Mention GCN. Buy SinoFresh.com. It works.
Folks, it shakes me up to really learn that our government is involved laundering the money, not just from heroin, cocaine, and other drugs out of Mexico, and that Los Zetas works for the CIA and is kidnapping men, women, children, raping them, murdering them, killing them en masse. Things far worse than any horror movie, worse than Jim Jones every day. Literally Hitler level. And do you see Robert Rodriguez, the big director, the maker of Machete, making a race war film about that? Do you see him making a film about the drug cartels controlling and dominating and controlling human trafficking? No. No, he makes a movie about a hero federale that comes to the United States to kill the Minutemen. The Minutemen do not have giant dungeons full of men, women, and children they're raping and killing. And it's all an act of dominance. The Los Zetas and others like to rape the men before they cut their heads off. They're just demon pigs. And now they're paying off your cops. Now they're taking over the Southwest. Now they're getting all the Democratic Party and Republican Party funding. Now they're intimidating the police, and our police are rolling over in a cowardly fashion. I mean, look at this. Mexican massacre investigator found dead. Body of official dumped beside road near scene of killing of 72 Central and South American migrants. Here's another one. Mayor of violent Mexican border state assassinated. That's a mayor every week they're killing. 2 car bombs explode in northern Mexico. Hell, we've got car bombings in Dallas, and the media keeps it real quiet. Mexicans fear cartels are winning. Well, of course they're winning. It's all globalist run. Listen, it's come out that DynCorp and Halliburton run giant child kidnapping rings in the Chicago Tribune and congressional hearings. DynCorp runs the CPS in Texas and many other states. Who do you think comes and kidnaps your kid? It's a DynCorp operative. They rule. They run everything. You think they'll kill 1 million Iraqis and they don't care about you? They don't care about you. They don't care about anybody. And just as soon as they get your guns, they're going to murder most of us. Okay, you understand that? They're going to get we got crooks running everything. And if you think Glen Beck's going to save you, he didn't tell you 1/100th of how hardcore it is. Brewer condemns report to UN mentioning Arizona law. Let me tell you why they haven't started the wholesale killing here in the U.S. They haven't figured out how to sell it to you. They're afraid you might go wild with your guns. They want to wait till they got their control grid in place so they can really start having their way with you. Meanwhile, Obama's sicking the United Nations on Arizona. Is he sicking the UN on Mexico with their paramilitary police running around kidnapping and murdering people en masse? Do anything about that? No, instead they're pulling the Border Patrol out of the border areas. And the 500 troops for Arizona and the 500 for Texas and the 200 for California aren't going to do diddly squat. It's all for imaging. It's all to sell you on how great it is. Man, I wish there was a free country to go to. There's all these fluoride heads, all these drooling idiots everywhere who don't know anything. Have no idea how much trouble we're in, how rotten everything is, how scum-filled the government is. You have no idea. Look at this article right here. I've had this since this morning. Several of these in my stack, and I can't even read this on air. Okay? Because I'm not some cynical yuppie that's just into winning personally, and that means how much money I have. I'm a human being that recognizes the social engineering, and I know how much trouble we're in. Every week I see articles where they're making school children wear RFID chips in their clothing to track them. You know what this means? I'd tell you about this 10 years ago and get made fun of and told it's never going to happen, it's never coming. Here it is, KSBW-TV. State officials say devices will save time and money. All children will wear RFID tracker chips. A $50,000 grant paid for it. And now I got to watch all these sheep tell me it's about keeping the kids safe. Give me a break.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
Hello, friends. This is Alex Jones. You've heard me talk about Cal-Ben 5-star soaps for years. This is an American-made product of the highest quality and compares to nothing you will find in stores. You can buy factory direct, shipped via UPS right to your door. Check them out on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091. Take my word for it. Once you've used Pure Soap, you won't buy anything else. Since 1947, Cal-Ben Soap Company has been showing consumers that soap can be tough on dirt and gentle on the environment. Buy American and stay clean, as well as support InfoWars. Visit 5starsoap.com today or call 1-800-340-7091. Well, Marty, what do you have to say?
As founder and owner for over 63 years, satisfaction is guaranteed or double your dirt back. Call us at 1-800-340-7091 for a free catalog or visit our website, 5starsoap.com. Thank you.